Hi, Raizee.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
We are Mother Milk, and we're here with Raizee. We have Raizee's story, written story, on our platform, but I had the opportunity to meet with Raizee and have her over and chat about, our experiences.
Yes.
And so we wanted to kind of have a little video conversation and share that with you all. So here we go.
All right.
So Raizee, introduce yourself a little bit and tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Raizee. I'm originally from New York. I currently live in Jerusalem, Israel. I'm married. I have 3 kids. My 2 oldest kids are my bonus babies. And they came with my husband. It was a package deal. And then our 3rd kid is my first biological babes, and he is a 1.5 years and sweet.
Yam.
Sweet.
His name is Yam. I love that.
His name is Yam, which means the sea.
Yes. Great. Okay, so let's start with, when you think about feeding, infant feeding, breastfeeding, what comes to mind? What associations come to mind?
Natural associations?
Yeah.
It's actually very warm. Very warm thoughts, very bonding and connecting and natural earth mother, circle of life. Lion King's coming out, so it's in there. Nice. It's almost a physical feeling, if you can even go that direction, of just being connected, and your body has been giving your baby everything that it's needed, and it's been the host for your baby from the get-go.
Right.
And now that your baby is out in the world with you, instead of it being this cold separation, it's no, there's still a little bit, and
That's
then
beautiful.
there's a weaning off, and I find that theme kind of repeats itself through your relationship with your kids, where it's you hold them close and then you kind of slowly let them go.
Right. Wow, I love that. I never thought of breastfeeding as kind of that extension of slowly kind of separating that bond. Thank you. Wow.
Sure.
And so what was your breastfeeding or feeding experience?
My breastfeeding experience was a little bit low key. But my feeding experience, it was actually kind of nice for my family when it came to just the feeding aspect, because being a bonus mom, a stepmom, I love my bigger kids and they love me, and that was work. That wasn't organic, natural, unconditional love that you would necessarily have as a parent to a child. Right. It was work. Yeah. And we've formed into this really beautiful family. And then this baby came, and it was very up in the air. Is this baby gonna be a symbol of well, now you have a new family, or is it gonna be more of, and now our family is complete and now we're all bonded because this baby belongs to each and every one of us in our own relationship, in our own way, which is what happened. Thank you universe, thank you God, that's what happened. And the feeding thing, the silver lining, even though my breastfeeding experience was not wonderful, the feeding experience was amazing, because now our baby, he has this older sister that could feed him and have that bonding experience, and an older brother who could do that. And I really do believe that in them being able to provide for him, it helped their bonds with him kind of become stronger, become written on their DNA.
Yeah.
And now that he's 1.5 years now, and he's not feeding in that same way, they're over the moon about him. They're obsessed with him. They love him. They crack up at his stuff, and they protect him. It's a really sweet thing, and it's a good argument that it started with feeding.
Right. Oh, beautiful. I think one of the things that I like most about what you said is that it's an inclusive experience, right? Mm-hmm. That everybody was able to take part in feeding. Yeah. And it really brought everyone together.
Yeah, and my husband also had an opportunity to feed him, which was actually good for me because I was recovering from a C-section, and getting up and getting down and all that stuff, which is something you have to do, you also have to rest.
Right.
And when you're feeding, you can't rest,
Right.
whether it's a bottle or breastfeeding. So to have him take on that responsibility also gave my body time to heal,
Yeah.
which was important, not just nice, but
Right.
relevant.
Right. Vital. And is there one particular moment that kind of stuck with you throughout your feeding experience that kind of resonates with you that you carry?
One particular moment. That's such a great question. Like that one time where like someone turned on the lights.
Yeah.
Well, it sticks with me, but it's not necessarily a positive memory. It was the first time I actually tried to feed him, and a nurse was helping me. Like I've never had my boobs shoved like this before, like squeezed and shoved and massaged, and not in any kind of like wondrous way. It was more it was very rough, very hard to try and like really like get that milk out.
Yeah.
And like he finally latched and there was no milk, and like folks at home, but when he latched, I saw he was struggling because he was so hungry, and like obviously 5 minutes later we fed him with a bottle and formula, and like he's cool. But when he latched, like I saw how much he needed to feel, not just to be fed, but he needed to feel that closeness. He needed to feel held and taken care of, and like obviously that's my translation of the experience, but I could see that he had a certain level of needs, and what I thought was the most important one, which was food, he wasn't getting. But the truth is, I don't know now if that was the most important. I think like maybe he felt scared, and like feeling not alone or feeling close was important also, which I think it's sad for me a little bit that like I couldn't breastfeed to give him that kind of closeness, but he's okay.
Yeah.
He's fine.
But
great.
you did give him, I mean, you gave him a closeness, and so many people were able to give him closeness.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I definitely think
It's that mommy guilt again.
it's
it's
the total mommy guilt.
We're unpacking a lot of guilt in these mommy stories.
Full on, but like even now, like when he like hugs me with his whole body. Like he's very sweet, and like there's a lot of love and hugs and kisses in the house, and like he feels it. It was just like the postpartum blues and like wanting to do that, like so desperately wanting to do this for your kid, and it's off the table and it's out of your control, and you just have to work with the tools that you have to do the best for your kid.
Yeah.
So
You're a good mommy.
oh, thank you.
And if there's one piece of advice, if you could go back to Raizee, knowing everything you know now, having experienced everything that you've experienced now, if you could go back to that Raizee, what would you tell her?
I'd probably grab her by her face and look her in her eyes, and I'd say, it's all gonna be okay. You do your best. You try your hardest, because that's what you do as a parent. You do your best for your kid. You try your hardest for your kid. And when you hit that wall where there's absolutely nowhere to go and you're at a full dead end, just do what you can. Right. And what I could do at that point, like when I realized like I really can't breastfeed, and I was pumping like 6 times a day, and like the beer and the oats and all that stuff, and I realized it just wasn't happening. Feed him. Feed him. He'll be fed. Formula was invented for a reason, and it was not invented for lazy moms. It was invented for moms who just physically cannot produce what it is. And there's, we don't talk about it a lot, and we really should. Right. But one of the reasons formula was invented is because a lot of babies were starving to death. And this was created as a supplement for mothers who couldn't produce milk. And there should be no shame in it. And there is, because there's maybe a certain idea of like, well, I'm going to breastfeed my baby because that's what I want, and bonding, and like, that's all good. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Right. And I think the advice I would give myself is like, you are living in a space and time where you're not stuck. Right. If it doesn't work, you tried. Now do what you need to do for your kid. Right. It's a lot of advice. It's very wordy.
No, it's really good, sane advice. I wish I had heard that.
Me too. There's somebody who would have told me that already.
Exactly. Well, here we are. We're telling moms. So, we've shared from Raizee's incredible experience. a little bit from my experience, and we hope that we've kind of empowered and, you know, given some knowledge through our experience, and empowered. So bye. Thank you.
Bye.